Hey everyone, I decided to make a fly tying video. Today I'm going to tie a Adams fly on a number 16 dry fly hook. This fly has caught me a lot of fish. It's like my go-to fly if I show up at new water that I've never fished before, and you know, it looks fishy and there might be some rises happening. I will put on an Adams fly. So I've tied a few of these already to get my practice going, which is good. I'm not really fussy about the thread I'm using, but if you want to know, it's uni thread 6/0. I don't know if you can see that, uni thread 6/0. And it's in a tan color. So I'll start off by wrapping the hook here. Do a few wraps here all the way to the back. What I do is basically stop right before the bend of the hook. And I trim that piece off, and for tail, I'm using, what is this? Golden Pheasant Medium Tippet is what it's called. And you just want to take a few strands. It's really, really pretty stuff. Take a few strands. I don't want too little. I think that's enough right there, if you can see that. Got it in my hand here. I'm just going to pinch the back. A lot of guys will tie their tail tippets in about as long as the hook shank, which is the part where it curves down and where the barb is, where you hook the fish. Sometimes I go a little longer. I'm not sure how long I went there. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's long enough for what I want. I've done a few wraps there to secure it, so I'm going to cut those off. And we're going to use some super fine dubbing. I got a whole dubbing box here, all kinds of colors. We're using Adams Gray. Now with dubbing, I find it's imperative, for me at least, that I take my time. So I just grab a tiny little bit. And I don't, I'm not using wax thread, and I don't wax my thread. I do have thread wax here, waspy, but yeah, I don't use it very often. Now with dubbing, you want it thin near the tail, and you want to build the body up. So, and you can see here, I've dubbed pretty thin there. And you just want to move it up to the tail of the hook. Start doing your dubbing wraps. So you start thin, and you want to build that body out as you come forward. So I'll keep adding some dubbing here. Some guys wrap it tight, some wrap it sparse, and I'm just kind of experimenting with this right now. It's kind of new material to me. So that's another reason why I take my time. So I'll wrap it thin and kind of go a little more sparse as I get towards the head of the hook. And I use very little. I think I use very little. stub that forward. Now you can see I've left, here I'll bring the camera in here. Oh, I can't, I'm plugged in. Okay, I'll try to zoom that in later. So I've left a fair amount of hook there so that I can tie in the hackle. Now I have grizzly hackle, and that's what I'm going to use today. I have actual size 16 to 22 hackle, which is very small. Way too small for this. My hands are, I work construction, my hands are huge. Woolly bugger dubbing. Sorry, not dubbing. Hackle. That's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to pull off the thinnest piece I can find here. A nice thin piece. Yeah, like about that. I'm going to pull it right back. And peel that off. Now what I like to do is I like to kind of peel off a little bit here at the end of this hackle so that I can tie it in, and then I'm going to start wrapping it with my hackle pliers. And another thing I like to do is kind of pull these down a bit, pull this hackle down a bit, fluff it out, because basically you use this, it kind of almost looks like legs to the fish on the fly, but it's it floats really well, so that's another reason why we use it. So the fly stays floating as much as possible, traveling down the river or maybe on the still water, wherever you like to use this. I've had much success with this fly in still water. I love it. And on rivers. I would almost call this a go-to. Yeah, I would call this a go-to fly. Now, some of you guys out there are probably like, oh, this chump's doing it the wrong way. Well, you know, that might be correct, but this is the way I tie it, and I've got a few to tie, and they fish, so I'll just leave it at that. Let's see if I can give you here. There's a better view. I don't want to be taping my ceiling. So I'm just going to keep wrapping. I've got a lot of hackle built up there, you can see. And when I want to end it, which will be, oh man, this one's a really nice one. Okay, so I'm going to pull my hackle off to the side a little bit and take my thread and weave it. Kind of just weave it in throughout this hackle. Tie off this piece so that I can clip it and finish tying. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to slide my scissors in here and give it a little snip. Now I've got a big ball of hackle here, so I lick my fingers, and I just want to try to pull back as best I can here around the head of the fly and start wrapping. And wrap back towards the hook. And try your best not to wrap too many wraps around the eyelet where you're going to put your tippet through, because I've tied many beautiful flies where I've just shit the bed on the heads of them. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm pretty happy with that one. All right, a couple snips here. Because I got some hackles sticking out. I'm gonna whip finish. Oh, okay, that looks pretty good. So, whip finisher. This tool is amazing. I just bought this. Getting used to it. What I do is I place it on the thread, start wrapping up, let it twist. And as I'm doing the whip, I just kind of feed my thread into the whip. And I go usually 5 times. Oh no. I usually go 5 times around. Then I can snip it off. Now, I'm not one of these fancy new schoolers who uses resin and UV light. I just do it the old-fashioned way, and you know, when the fly gets ripped apart by teeth of trout, then it's done, and it's done its job. So, perfect, you know, let that fly rest in peace, and you know, remember that fly for the rest of your life if you want. Now, I always try to steady my hand with scissors when I'm trimming this. And the reason I have to trim this is because I'm using woolly bugger hackle here. So, it's, you know, I want to be I want to make it look good. I want to make it look snazzy, you know, it's got to be trouty. I don't want to cut it off too much. Now, if I was a fish, oh man, would I ever be after that. And that's the Adams fly. Here, I'll unplug so you can have a look here. Can you see that very good? Right on. Well, that was fun. I'll probably tie a couple more of those, and yeah, keep on rolling. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays, and thanks for watching. Peace.